So we have our featured work now worked out, and everything is loading as it should be, and the information is being passed along. Now the next thing that we need to make XML driven is the news section. And to work on that one, we'll actually go into our main container and on the third frame. So we'll create a quick reference to our main timeline, and since we already have one in this object, we'll have it, we'll give it a different name. So movie clip, that's the this dot parent. Okay, and now we'll access news num through main timeline 2 object. So if we go to news now, we'll see we have as many news 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as we have in here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and this is the 5th one. Okay. And again, going into our news item up here, checking the title. This is info. This one is content. In here we have already a position rule function, which is actually okay, but there's a slight problem. So this height should actually be text height. Okay. Otherwise, it doesn't read the property height of the text field. So this is something that you have to write in order to get the actual height of your text area out. This function will be ready and working when we actually need it. So when we start actually changing the amount of content that we have in there. So we'll delete all that right now, because we'll have this ready for when we want it to position after all the content has been changed, right? So we don't want the rule to be positioned before the content has been changed. That's for sure. So right after creating our news item, we'll input the XML. Okay. So let's say news item dot title dot text equals empty2 dot news title, and this is now the, and we'll actually use so we'll reverse our order over here. So we'll use empty, and this is gonna look kind of strange, but anyway, it'll do the job. So news num num minus 1 minus k. 1 minus k. Okay, so we are reversing the order right here. So news num is the number of news, and minus 1 minus k just makes sure that we are actually getting to the right one, because without minus 1 we would have an error and everything wouldn't really work as it should. But with this in place, we're going to get a nice reversed order. And this is content, and content should have HTML text, and that's all you need to write in order for this text to parse it as HTML. This is really kind of a nice thing to be able to do. So info dot text equals news info and news content. After all of that is done, so after we have filled all of our text with whatever content should be inside, we use the news item dot position rule like that for it to be positioned to the appropriate place. Okay, so running that we'll see the whole thing working, but there will be a problem, and the problem comes in the form of positioning. So let's fix it right now. And to fix it, I've created this news height variable up here. Okay, and we actually keep adding to this value the height of our current content plus 100, which is everything else. So if we look at the way that things stand now is, hasn't loaded the XML again for an unknown reason, and the height of our text is actually the only thing that's changing in here, right? Title has the same height, info has the same height, only the content is actually going to keep changing the height. And if we want to fix that, so if you want to properly space them, we can just add to one variable and then use that variable as the y value to our news item. So that's what we're doing right here. The first one is skipped, and the second, third, and so on actually get this news height, which is the combination of the height of your content plus everything else, which this 100 represents. You have probably noticed one more issue in the news item, and that's that the this dynamic text over here doesn't really scale as it should be, right? So to do that, we'll just use the content auto size text field auto size left. This means now that it'll actually resize as it fills with content, and it'll do that to the upper left corner. So you can see now all the text inside of this text field. So now the one thing that we should check out is, because we don't have an image in our HTML text 5 JPEG, because I know I have images in that folder, just not too sure. Here we go. So now everything is working exactly as it should be. And we're actually ready for our contact us form. Cool.